Good evening. Sonder is one of those new age words I came across about a decade ago now. It's defined simply as the realization that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and complex as your own. While this may only be a word some dude with a blog came up with to describe a particular phenomenon, the sentiment used to be quite real. It was very much thought in the not-so-distant past that people, all people, from the homeless and working class to the richest and most established on this planet, each had their own identity, thoughts, worth, and value. No one believes this anymore. These days, you can instead take your pick of words describing the opposite. Normie, NPC, robot, AI, or the more traditional terms of dumb and lifeless. Even those who I would personally qualify as being normie NPCs have mocked others as being normie NPCs, sometimes including me in on that mockery. There are a few who aren't aware of this very different phenomenon now. In the span of approximately half a decade, we've gone from a word that states all human beings are deeply complex and unique to ones that state most to a vast majority of human beings are programmed and have as valid an existence as a toaster. Even having lived through both views of humanity, I still find this shift and observational trend rather strange. Personally, I never viewed every human on the planet as being some complex creature, but I'm what many would call weird. This shift doesn't seem to be based on any grand notions, but more so very simple computation. People, as a general rule, think very highly of themselves and are incredibly insular. During the second half of the 20th century, everyone thought preferring a different pizza topping and liking a different genre of film meant we all had a truly unique and vivid identity. To be weird, ironically, meant to be so different that you liked a pizza topping everyone hated, or didn't like pizza at all. At the moment, we live in an age of extreme and radical polarization and individuality. And, despite everyone actually being rather unique due to this, people believe those who aren't quite them to be deeply unreal and standardized. In this way, I think it's reasonable to claim that human complexity and uniqueness is, perhaps oddly, based on having little of it. We humans despise differences. The same people who claim to be edgy freaks because they have the same degenerate interests and body modifications as everyone else, will also intensely seek to destroy someone who's actually and genuinely different, such as someone who lacks such modifications, and especially someone who deems them mindless and conformist. More than anything, this phenomenon, like so many others, seems to be a survival mechanism. One may view both steak and the aforementioned pizza as being valid choices for dinner, be disinterested in a vegan option or something that doesn't suit their palate, and simply laugh and ridicule anyone that may recommend not eating at all or suggest eating the pages of a magazine. Similarly, we are also biologically programmed, and for the same reasons, to have distance from things that don't pertain to us, and to have active disdain for what we deem to oppose us. The fact people use a word to imply lack of thought and normalcy seems to be based on an unconscious belief that one could, if they chose, believe in what is so obviously true as opposed to what they currently believe. Terms that instead imply roboticism are inherently more deterministic, and that there is an implication there's simply no hope for change at all. These words also very much seem rooted in our lives of abundance and peace, as, historically, terms like evil and insane would have instead been more common, these ones implying that such beliefs, or lack thereof, actually matter, and aren't just some minor inconvenience. Much of human phenomenon can be understood through distance and transition. In this instance, it can quite cleanly be seen that we expect particular outputs and are dissatisfied when we don't receive them, finding fault in each other in the same way we would if a vending machine were just as likely to combust or shatter as it were to drop one of its offerings after a button were to be pushed.